let's go Browns. They said it was just another rivalry, just another comparison between two elite AFC North players. But what if I told you the debate between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt just took a radical turn, and not because of what fans are saying, but because of what NFL insiders, coaches, and executives are admitting behind closed doors? This isn't speculation. It's not fan hype. This is real, and it changes everything. For years, Browns fans have known what Myles Garrett brings to the table: eccentric athleticism, unparalleled explosiveness, and the ability to destroy a game plan before the ball even snaps. But now, the rest of the NFL is catching up, and they're doing it with their votes, their statements, and their game day decisions. Garrett isn't just elite, he's becoming the standard. What ESPN just revealed is more than a ranking. It's a statement, and if you're a Browns fan, you'll want to stick around, because this may be the clearest proof yet that Cleveland has something the rest of the league fears more than anything else: a star defensive back who is redefining the way the game is played. I'll tell you all the details, but first, make sure to hit the like button if you've been a Browns fan for over 16 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. There are people here who have been bleeding brown and orange for over 30 years. The utmost respect. Now, I want to ask you something. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate Kevin Stefanski as the Browns head coach? Comment below. Well, let's get right to it. What might be the gold standard to some coaches, but Garrett is the schematic nightmare. Garrett's quickness is unmatched. His get-off time is clocked at an average of 0.70 seconds, tying him for the fastest among edge rushers with at least 200 pass rushes. That speed led to 40 quick pressures, defined as getting to the QB in under 2.5 seconds, which ranks second in the entire NFL. Think about that. In an era where quarterbacks are releasing the ball faster than ever, Garrett is still getting there before they can even make a second read. This debate between Watt and Garrett gets toxic quickly. Steelers fans dig in, Browns fans defend, and it becomes this noisy mess of stats and fan takes. But what's often missed is how much harder it is to measure the kind of player who forces you to abandon your favorite plays, your comfort zones, your entire offensive philosophy. There's one quote in the ESPN article that should end the debate for anyone paying attention. A coordinator said, "There's a short list of guys you have to shift your funds to, and Garrett is the first person you think of when it comes to how much of your game plan he occupies." You don't say that about just any pass rusher. That's reserved for generational talents, the type who already look like Canton-bound legends. Even the Browns' own division rivals are likely nodding along in private. One analyst guessed that if you polled all 32 offensive coordinators and asked who they'd least want to face between Watt and Garrett, 31 would say Garrett. The lone exception? Pittsburgh's own OC, because pride dies hard in this rivalry. Now let's pivot to the broader conversation. What truly sets Myles Garrett apart from not just TJ Watt, but from almost every other edge rusher in the game today? It's not just the sacks, the get-off speed, or even the ability to collapse the pocket. It's the evolution. When Garrett first entered the league, his freakish athleticism made him a nightmare for even top-tier offensive tackles. But early in his career, there were moments where seasoned linemen could find a way to neutralize him, sometimes through technique, sometimes through scheme. That's no longer the case. As one evaluator said in ESPN's article, a good tackle used to be able to give him problems, but that's less and less the case now. He's more consistent with his pass rush. That's growth. That's refinement. Garrett hasn't just maintained his dominance, he's leveled up. Year after year, he's added more tools to his arsenal. Spin moves, inside counters, speed to power. He's become a technician without sacrificing the raw athleticism that made him a top pick in the first place. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the situation around TJ Watt is becoming increasingly complicated. Yes, he's still one of the most productive defenders in the NFL. Yes, he's capable of taking over a game. But last season, there were signs, clear ones, that the weight of carrying an underperforming offense is starting to wear on that Steelers defense. As one AFC coach put it, "I thought he wore down a little bit, but their whole defense did. I think they just got tired, and the struggles on offense could have played a role." That's not just speculation. That's the reality in Pittsburgh. Another year, another new quarterback, new wide receivers, new running back, new coordinator. Nothing stable. For years now, the Steelers' defense has had to play Superman, bailing out an offense that can't find its rhythm. That doesn't just affect performance, it affects durability, consistency, and morale. What might still be elite, but when you're asked to constantly rescue a unit that can't stay on the field, it catches up. That's the difference between playing in harmony and playing in survival mode. And that's where Garrett has the edge. He's no longer just a superstar on an island. He's the centerpiece of a defense that's being built around him. Jim Schwartz is in town, and what he's doing with this Browns defense is no small thing. Garrett isn't being asked to do everything alone. He's surrounded by talent, strategy, and purpose. That multiplies his effectiveness. It doesn't just elevate his play, it elevates the whole unit. Now, let's not pretend this debate will ever end. As long as Garrett and Wood are playing in the same division, every sack, every turnover, every win and loss will be viewed through the lens of this rivalry. And that's okay. That's what makes football great. But Browns fans, it's time we embrace what we have, not just as a team, but as a franchise with a player who is already rewriting the standards for defensive greatness. Think about it. 2 straight seasons as the #1 ranked edge rusher in the NFL. The respect of coaches, GMs, and coordinators league-wide. A unique ability to not just win matchups, but to force teams to change their identity. Garrett doesn't just play the game. He bends it. And if you're still on the fence, still not sure who's better, just ask yourself this. If you were building a team tomorrow, and you could pick just one edge rusher to anchor your defense for the next 5 years, what would it be? A guy with high production but questions about wear and tear? Or a player whose game is still ascending, whose speed off the line ties for fastest in the NFL, and who demands double teams and timeouts just by showing up? You know the answer. So here's what I want from you, Browns Nation. Drop a comment below. Tell us where you stand in this debate. Is it Garrett all day? Or do you give Wood the edge in certain situations? We want to hear it. And if you made it this far into the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our deep dives, interviews, or Browns breakdowns. And let's not forget what this means for the future of the Cleveland Browns. Having a player like Myles Garrett anchoring your defense isn't just about individual accolades. It's about culture. It's about setting a tone in the locker room, on the field, and across the league. When opposing teams prep for Cleveland, the first name on the whiteboard is Garrett. That's power. That's leadership. And that's the kind of foundation championship defenses are built on. This isn't just a golden era for Garrett. It's a turning point for the franchise. With stability on defense, improvements on offense, and a front office committed to surrounding stars with talent, the Browns are positioning themselves not just to compete, but to contend. And Myles Garrett, he's not just leading the charge. He is the charge. So again, Browns fans, what do you think? Is this the year Garrett finally gets the national respect he deserves? Will this dominance translate into postseason glory? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with every Dawg Pound faithful out there. Let's make this season unforgettable. This is more than a debate. It's a declaration. For the first time in a long time, the Cleveland Browns aren't just part of the conversation, they're leading it. And at the heart of it all is a force of nature named Myles Garrett, a player who doesn't just line up on Sundays, he sends shockwaves across the NFL every single time he steps on the field. Browns fans, think about what this means. For years, we've watched the national media overlook Cleveland, underrate our players, and doubt our potential. We've endured losing seasons, quarterback controversies, coaching changes, and painful Sunday after painful Sunday. But that's not where we are anymore. We are witnessing the rise of something different, something special, something built to last. Myles Garrett being named the #1 edge rusher in the NFL, voted by actual coaches, executives, and general managers, isn't just a personal victory. It's a message to every team in the league that the Browns have the most feared defensive player in football. Not in theory, not in fantasy, but in the eyes of those who game plan against him week after week. They're the ones who have to stay up late into the night trying to figure out how to stop him. And most of the time, they still fail. When you have a player that makes other teams abandon their strengths, scrap entire portions of their playbook, just because of where he lines up, that's a generational talent. That's dominance. And it's ours.